don't buy these men's fragrances in 2024. These are some of the worst men's cologne you can get. If you're still wearing them, just stop. Get something else. So I'm going to start with one that is kind of, everyone kind of dislikes it, which is Paco Rabanne 1 million. This is notorious for being too sweet. Not just for men, but arguably even for women. I mean, I've seen comments about 1 million where, they say it's like swimming in a pile of gummy bears or just sugar or syrup. Like, it's just really, really sweet. And now, there is a time and a place for sweetness in men's fragrances. And there are many fragrances for men that, they do that sweetness very well. But Paco Rabanne 1 million is not one of them. It's kind of a clubbing fragrance, and it's meant to be really, really strong to really just project across whatever room you're in. But that kind of just makes it worse, because then you just got that really cloying, syrupy sweetness just sticking to everything and everybody in your vicinity. So most people really, really do not enjoy 1 million unless you just have a crazy sweet tooth and you really like that intense sweetness. But the majority of people, not big fans of 1 million. It just doesn't smell that great, especially on men. And that longevity does not help it. So, again, just kind of ditch that in general. Not a great fragrance. Now, moving on from that one, another option that's kind of iffy is specifically Obsession by Calvin Klein. Not this one, because this is actually for women. The men's version of Calvin Klein Obsession, a lot of people do not like it. It's kind of collectively disliked. Now, Obsession is an 80s fragrance. It was like that one is for women. It was marketed for women, but then, there was the men's version as well. And it has gone through some reformulations, but just in general, people really don't like the men's version that much. It's just not that great. Compared to the women's version, which arguably is more of a unisex scent these days, it's really just not that great. A lot of people complain about the longevity, about just in general how it smells. So, I mean, I would even say, because the women's version is universally liked by, most people, and because it's so kind of intense and animalistic and musky, that's just, if you're going to wear something like Obsession, just get the women's version because it's unisex enough to, not really matter that much. And just ditch the men's version of Obsession completely, because it's not worth it. It's not really that good. It is affordable, but it's not worth it. So just ditch the Obsession for men. But besides that one, another one which a lot of people are really not wearing anymore, they're, kind of not enjoying it, is Davidoff Cool Water. Because Davidoff Cool Water, now, it did have its time in the sun. It's type of, aquatic, fresh, clean type of scent, and affordable. The kind of problem that it has is that it doesn't have great longevity, and some people complain that it smells very synthetic. Because if you smell Cool Water in comparison to some other aquatic types of fragrances, you could definitely tell that Cool Water smells more synthetic compared to, some other oceanic fragrances. So, again, definitely not one of the best. It's not a bad fragrance, but it's just not really one of the best. A lot of people are starting to dislike it, and again, it had its time, but it's not really around anymore. And there are better options with better longevity, just better smells, and that sort of thing for that type of kind of light, breezy, oceanic fragrance. Now, another one, which is, just kind of obvious, it's not even really a formal cologne, but I do have to kind of mention it just because it's so out there, which is Axe body spray. Don't wear this. Unless you're like 15, you should not be wearing Axe body spray. People always, they always say, they make fun of the people who just like absolutely douse themselves in Axe body spray, and they think they smell great, but they don't. They just smell extremely synthetic, extremely just like your eyes are gonna start watering because of how intense it is. it's just not a great option. Axe body spray, not a great option. There are so many other options that are better. You don't even have to spend a lot of money just to smell a little bit better than Axe body spray. But yeah, Axe body spray is one of those just oversaturated, overused types of fragrances that, again, unless you're a teenager, there's no reason to wear that type of thing. Now, the last one that I have to mention, and I do have kind of mixed feelings about this one personally, which is Drar Noir. So every time I look up, you know, worst men's fragrances, most disliked men's fragrances, there's always Drar Noir slipping in there. I disagree with this personally, but I think Drar Noir is actually nice, but it just has a lot of history. It was so overused when it came out in the 80s and then through the 90s. It was so oversaturated by men that people just kind of collectively got tired of it. But now, you know, it's been kind of out of fashion for a while. I don't think it's really that bad. It's a very powerful, aromatic men's fragrance. You know, it's very similar to Dylan Blue, like the sharper version of Dylan Blue, with those citrus notes and kind of the pepperiness and the sharp metallic notes. So again, personally, I don't think Drar Noir is really all that bad, but a lot of people do dislike it. It's on a lot of those disliked men's clone lists. So if you do want to wear Drar Noir, you do have to wear it with a little bit of caution, because it you know, some people probably have like flashbacks to Drar Noir, just the intensity of it. It is a very strong fragrance as well. I mean, the strength that it has is probably akin to Axe body spray, where if you put too much on, it's just too much. It's gonna give you a headache. But on its own, in a vacuum, Drar Noir is actually good. But as it is in the zeitgeist of fragrances, a lot of people do dislike it. So you have to be kind of cautious with that one in particular. But those are pretty much the main fragrances not to buy in 2024, not to wear, because either they're out of fashion, or they're too oversaturated, or they just don't smell good. So that is pretty much my list of, you know, kind of the worst worst men's fragrances you could get at the moment. But hopefully you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining. And if you did, of course, you could leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.